So this is one of the first things I'm going to talk about is my Oscar, and his name is Kingfish, and he's about 6 inches right now, and I'm going to show you how I feed him, which is pretty easy. As you can see here, I'm getting ready to throw some bloodworms. This is his favorite. You can see how excited he is. There he goes. Anyway, this is the aftermath of it. As you can see, he's really messy. So I'm going to show you a few clips afterwards of the things I have to do to clean his tank as he's mowing down there. As you can see, all the little bloodworms are coming out of his mouth, and he's going to go swim away back to this little corner, go digest all that. So this is also one of the things I have to do is clean out his filter. So you can see I'm in my master bath here, taking out all the different layers. And then when I have to clean his water, I have to take out about 20 gallons, using my master shower in a bucket to save time. Use a little prime because the water is pretty hard where I live. Putting the filter back together is fairly easy, but you want to be careful because if you don't tighten these in good enough, you're going to have a really mess on your floor. And I can attest to this. I've done this several times where I've had a lot of spill. But fortunately, this is tile, so it's not like carpet or laminate. Well, I've changed the water, and this is the result. He gets rather pissed whenever I do this, and he kind of sulks in his corner. But he'll get over it. Right, Kingfish? So now I'm going to show you how I feed my mantis shrimp. This is a cool conversation piece whenever somebody comes over. I let them feed. Pennywise is what I call him. And these are silverbacks. I feed them using forceps. Someday I want to try putting something live in there, but I haven't had the time to really investigate that. So anyway, here we go. We're going to give him a little bit of his favorite treat, which are silverbacks. So next I'm going to show you how you can put a remote sensor in one of your ceiling fans. This is my office. This is the third bedroom. And it's really quite easy, but it can be quite difficult. I have 10-foot ceilings and also a fear of heights to add to that. So I can't really show you too much because it's rather difficult for me to be on the ladder and mess with wiring, so I'll do the best that I can. First thing you want to do is flip the breaker off so you don't shock the hell out of yourself. You can also flip the light switch, but I prefer to do it this way for extra precaution. Oh look, hey look, there's my car. See that? It really does exist. The bicycle's in the background too, you can see it, but there it is. See, I told you guys I had a car. Anyway, we're going to talk about the first part of this, which you have to take off the canopy. You can see these two little screws here. I'm up on my ladder, shaking for dear life. It's really not too hard. If you've never done it before, it could be a little bit taxing, but this is fairly simple. You just have to make sure that you know what wires go with what. And this is the part where you have to stuff the remote sensor in the little mounting bracket, and you can see all the different little wires. Now, one little challenge about this one, you can see there was a third wire. There was a red wire. And what the red wire is that if you have a switch on the wall, this can control whether you turn it on or turn it off. If you have a remote sensor, you don't have to worry about that because all you need to do is just turn it on, so it just needs a power source. So basically what you do in that situation is you just cap that extra wire. And the real challenge of this, as I can tell you, is trying to put all these wires back in and get the canopy. Unfortunately, I couldn't film all that. It was a real pain in the ass, but I'm going to show you the end result of this job, so it should make you happy, I hope. So the last part of my video is called Hooking up your master clock. Now, a master clock is an external device that connects to a DAC or CD player that has the inputs for them. These inputs you will not find in standard CD players. You have to actually find and spend a lot of money to get one of these. Now, for me, I'm a big audiophile, and I don't really care for the sound that comes out of Alexa or headphones or MP3 players. I like big, nice sounding stereos. So I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for this, but this equipment is not easily found. The two silver boxes there came from Japan. To usually get these to work in a step-down transformer, they are beautiful components. The two together, the two silver things, the esoterics, they weigh about 160 pounds for both of them together. So you have to have a really nice rack to hold all that weight. And below is my Yamaha Avantage amp and preamp. So I'm going to talk to you about the master clock and how that works exactly. So that silver box up there is the master clock. Now I'm going to explain to you how this works. So if you have a CD player, I know some of you are like, Jesus Christ, a CD player, who uses those? Well, a CD player has better resolution than your MP3s or your streaming, so I won't get into that, but I'll get back to the master clock. I digress. So how this works is that when you play a CD, you're not hearing digital audio exactly. You're hearing digital audio converted back to analog. Now, in this conversion process, the problem can be is that the DAC might not be very good, or the master clock itself might have timing errors. So the DAC converts the digital signal back to analog, and then the master clock's job is to take any timing errors out there. Now, if there are timing errors and you have a poor clock, then the result could be what's called distortion, or as other people call it, jitter. So the concept behind this is that you use an external clock that's just solely dedicated to fixing any timing errors. Now, in my opinion, I think it does make a difference. I can hear it quite a bit. You probably wouldn't hear it so much with the single CD units, but definitely when you have a DAC and a transport, which are called separates, you can hear the difference. I'm also going to show you guys how you can further improve the sound by adding a 10 megahertz oscillator. So this is a 10 megahertz oscillator, and you can connect this to your master clock, and it takes about probably about 30 or so seconds before it locks onto the oscillator signal. Now what this does is that you can upgrade the sound to 10 megahertz. A lot of digital signals, when they come out in analog form, it's actually square. So what this does is it changes the output frequency to a 10 megahertz sine wave. So what you actually hear is something that's very close to analog, and it sounds great. Now there's only one thing that I will tell you. Unfortunately, a lot of new CDs are compressed, so if there are any defects, you will certainly hear those, and that's one of the unfortunate things about higher audio, is the defects. So now that we've turned on the master clock, we turn on the transport, and we got to turn on the DAC. It'll take probably about a minute or so to get the 10 megahertz signal. So what happens is, you can see there's the word sync option. It keeps flashing until it locks onto the 10 megahertz signal. So I'm in no hurry, I don't mind. And oh look, hey Drama, how you doing, Drama? Okay, so we're back to the DAC. So it takes about probably, I'd say, about a minute or so, and you have to wait until it's ready. Now what happens is the little word indicator will be solid, and you'll hear this really nice little click click sound, which means that the signal has locked, the machine has locked onto the signal. And it's a really good experience audio wise. I mean, I can hear all sorts of stuff that I normally wouldn't hear on a Sony or any of the main name brands that you buy at Target or whatever. So one thing I will say, and just to get back at the idea of compression, is that a lot of the newer stuff out there is louder than what it used to be, and what they do is they use what's called brick wall compression. So whenever you listen to a recording, there's natural peaks and valleys. And what brick wall compression does is it removes all that, so everything's like the same volume. And that could be really loud, and that causes clipping and distortion. Interestingly enough, when I'm riding my bicycle, trying to avoid being hit by one of you guys, when you play your music, you actually really like that distortion. I mean, I feel sorry for your speakers. I can hear the distortion, and it's just so, it gives me the pea shivers whenever I hear it. It's just, it sounds so awful. However, that is the new sound, and that's how a lot of engineers do it, is that they see it as louder is better. And unfortunately, that's really sad, because you lose a lot of the natural sound if you make it really loud. Also, it sounds terrible. So as you can see, the 10 megahertz clock has now locked.
Doing, Mikey? Huh? What you doing? What you doing, huh? What you doing, drama?
So this concludes my little video on different little things you can do. Now if I had more time, I'd show you how to make certain dishes, but I just have to grade your papers, gosh darn it. So thank you for watching, and good luck, and all my best.